In 2023, I made a huge mistake. I overlooked dates from my Sejarah and Kesusasteraan Cina exams. I didn't realize this until it was almost too late and the panic set in. The realization hit me. I hadn't started studying for Sejarah at all, and now I had to work some sort of exam magic to cram everything I needed to know. This mistake was a learning experience for me. The pressure to perform, especially when you know you're behind, can be overwhelming. But despite all the stress, I managed to score a 92 on my Sejarah exam. This was a massive improvement from the year before when I had only managed to get a 62 on my Sejarah exam after another cramming session. So, how did I go from struggling to getting consistent 90s and eventually an A+ in Sejarah for my SPM? It wasn't just luck. Today, I want to share the specific methods I used to improve my study habits and make sure I could score well even under pressure. Let's dive in. Forgetting what you just memorized. I'm sure many of us have been in this situation where you spend hours trying to memorize content for your exam, but when it's time to recall it, nothing. Nothing seems to stick. Or worse, you're unsure whether you've remembered everything you just studied. This feeling of uncertainty is incredibly frustrating, especially when you know you need to remember all that information for the test. You may have thought to yourself, I spent so much time studying, but why can't I recall anything? It's a common issue, and here's how I dealt with it. Cross-checking your memory. One of the best ways to deal with this issue is to check how much you've retained. So here's the first method I used, which is called blurting. What is blurting? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. After you've finished studying a subtopic, close your book and try to dump everything you can remember about it. For example, let's say you just studied the idea pegawai British in Sejarah. Now close your book and try to recall everything from memory. Write down everything you can. It might look like a jumble of ideas, but that's okay. The point is to see how much of the topic you can recall, even if it's not perfect. This will help you identify the gaps in your memory. I've also found it helpful to do this in the mornings, right after I wake up. Before I get ready for school, I grab a piece of paper and write down everything I remember from my revision the night before. I try to do this as quickly as possible, and it's a great way to keep the information fresh in my mind. It's like a quick recap session before I move on with my day. This method is super effective for essay-based subjects like Sejarah. It forces you to practice recalling specific points and can help with muscle memory for answering exam questions. But here's the catch. This method is extremely time-consuming, and if you're cramming at the last minute, you may not have the luxury of doing this extensively. You should only do this for questions you are confident will come up for essay questions, and if you really need to cross-check your retention. Making your notes in the question and answer format. Now, if you're in a situation like mine, where you're cramming for an exam and time is limited, you need a more efficient strategy. And that's where tip 2 comes in. Let me explain. In 2021, while cramming for my JUEC exam, I came across a video by Faye Films called How to Memorize Anything Fast, Easily, and Accurately. The tips she shared were life-changing. She suggested creating questions based on the content you need to memorize. This method was a game changer for me, and I've been using it for all my exams ever since. Essentially, instead of just passively reading your textbook, she recommends creating questions based on your textbook content to help you memorize it. My approach to note-taking is similar, but with a few tweaks. Here's my twist on this method. When I face essay questions, I organize my notes to have a bigger question and more detailed questions inside it. Let's say you're revising a subtopic on Persekutuan Tanah Melayu, 1948. Instead of just reading about it, you write questions like Nyatakan ciri-ciri Persekutuan Tanah Melayu 1948 Then, to break it down further, you write smaller, specific questions underneath this question, such as huraikan pentadbiran Persekutuan Tanah Melayu 1948 or jelaskan kuasa-kuasa Raja-Raja Melayu Persekutuan Tanah Melayu 1948. This helps you zoom in on key details, making it easy to remember. Once you've written the main and specific questions and read through it, you can take it a step further. I add trigger words to my notes. What's a trigger word? It's a single word that will jog your memory and help you recall the entire point. For example, under Pentadbiran Persekutuan Tanah Melayu 1948, for the point Singapura kekal sebagai tanah jajahan British yang berasingan, my trigger word would be tanah jajahan because it's unique and it stands out. These trigger words become your shorthand for recalling entire ideas. Rather than memorizing lengthy paragraphs like this, you'll only need to remember a few keywords that will trigger the full sentence. This is especially helpful for essay questions, where you need to recall a lot of information quickly and clearly. Now, let's talk about a bonus tip. What if you're running short on time and can't afford to make detailed notes? Well, you can simplify the previous method and still make it work. All you need is a sticky note. Write down the main questions, smaller questions, and trigger words on the sticky note and stick it inside your Sejarah textbook. This way, whenever you're flipping through the pages, you can quickly refer to your questions and triggers. It's a fast and effective revision tool that can help you retain the most critical points, especially when you're cramming and you need to save time. If you have access to the official answer scheme, you can also write the questions on top and next to them, add the key trigger words. This saves time and allows for efficient last-minute reviews. So there you have it. These are the methods that helped me go from struggling with Sejarah to scoring an A+ in SPM. Whether you're cramming last minute or preparing well in advance, I hope these tips can help you improve your study habits and boost your grades. I'd love to hear about your challenges or Sejarah goals in the comments below. Let me know how these tips work for you, or if you have any tips of your own to share. If you found this video helpful, make sure to check out my playlist for more SPM videos. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss a new video. Good luck with your exams, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.